Hello, how are you today? Like, there's so many different ways you can create a colour scheme, like it's actually ridiculous, but this is how I personally do it. And yet, the way I do it, it varies every time. So this will be fun. I think the colour scheme is very important because it sets the precedent or the tone or the emotion of the space. And colour is so fun. Like, there's so much you can do with colour, and like it's just, oh, I love it. This is my favorite part of the process. Okay, so where do you start? You're entering your room. Either it's a renovation or it's a new build, whatever you have. Let's say it's a renovation. So you already have a colour on the walls, and say, for example, it's a living room. You have the colour on the walls already. You're trying to pick something new. You actually don't know where to even start. What I like to do is pick something and work around it. What I mean by that is, for example, let me give you an example. Okay, so wallpaper. Okay, then I picked the paint to revolve around this. So I picked the lightest tone in the background, and I picked the kind of green tint that's on the leaves, and that was my color scheme. And all kind of tied back into this. I think it's important to have a link in a space. So whether it's like, even if you notice in spaces where there's so many different colors going on, there's always something that kind of brings them together. I think that link is very important when you're creating a cohesive space, and a space that looks well thought out and not just thrown together. What I'd recommend doing is, if you're starting off in your design journey, I'd recommend collecting samples, because these are going to be your best friend. Because sometimes it takes ages to get samples, and like when you're working on a project, you don't have time to be waiting for samples to go into post, because a lot of times you're on very tight deadlines and things need to be done fast. So you don't have time to waste 2 weeks waiting on samples to drive into post. So be gathering your samples. A lot of these sites only have like, you're only allowed to pick like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 samples per go. So get on that, sis. It's so easy to create a color scheme, guys. Like, don't overthink it. That's my biggest tip, is don't overthink it. It's only paint. If it doesn't look right, you can just paint over it. I mean, I know that means hiring the painter back to get them to repaint or whatever, and it would be nice to be done properly the first time, but just, go with it. Okay, so I'm going to give you another example. I don't have the stuff with me here, but I'll overlap them on the screen. So this is a sneak peek at a current project, and this color scheme hasn't been approved yet, so don't get too excited because it might even be happening, but this is how I kind of came up with the color scheme for this space. I picked the floor, and all came from the floor, and this client had this beautiful quartz on the fireplace. It's Calcutta Gold by Silestone, and I just placed that with the floor, and then I wanted to go like a deep color, so I kind of had an idea of kind of where on the kind of color spectrum I wanted to fall, so I knew I wanted it to be dark. My client didn't like green, so it couldn't have been green. I'm over blue, so it wasn't going to be blue. I landed on this beautiful red shade. It was between red and this like brinjal kind of color. It's like a purpley kind of lovely color, like mauvey kind of. And then I kind of layered them all up together, kind of added in my couch color, and kind of just, it's like a layering process, and you'll take out and you'll pull in and you'll pull back in, and it's a whole process, and it might take 2 or 3 times before you get the kind of perfect scheme going. But when you do, oh, it's so exciting. Oh my goodness, it's like the best feeling ever. It's like, oh, you can kind of taste the end result now, and it's like tingly. It's just amazing, yeah. So, paint that I'd suggest is, I'm obsessed with the Farrow & Ball color range. I just think it's exceptional. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's so nice. Also, the Little Green Paint Company is a fantastic option as well. Also, I'm obsessed with Fleetwood. Fleetwood's amazing. Like, I love the quality of their paints. Like, I use Fleetwood quite a bit actually. Basically, I get it mixed with Fleetwood. It's half the price, and I just think the quality of it's better. That's personal preference. And also, like, painters I work with, I think it's easier to work with. Like, I think just get an item, whether it be a cushion or a wallpaper. Like, I wouldn't hold yourself to a specific color. Like, say for example, if you really loved Green Smoke by Farrow & Ball and you love this color and this is the color you wanted to use and this is where you're building your color scheme from, then I'd carry this little sample card around you like it's your Bible, and when I'm in the paint shops, I'd be going, if I'm wanting to do wallpaper, that is if I'm wanting to do wallpaper, I'd be kind of going through the wallpaper samples and trying to match up kind of which one kind of pops and which one works best together. That's actually kind of nice, because you want like tones. I think tone is the most important thing. Like, you don't have to like, you don't have to like have like 3 of one color and 3, like, it doesn't, like, don't, just ignore the rules, okay? Just ignore the rules, and kind of, I think, work along with tone. So like, there's a, like, whatever tone you see in this color, kind of keep that consistent throughout. Now obviously you can mix and match warm tones and cooler tones, but I mean, like, there's certain like grayer tones or bluer tones or greener tones like in this. Like, there's not, like, there's no really yellow tones in this, so I'd be avoiding kind of warmer colors and warmer fabrics, although sometimes it works when you clash it. But anyway, like, that's getting into technicalities. Like, let's start with the basics. Let's get you started first, and then, you know, when you start experimenting with different colors, you know, you'll gain more confidence and you'll be able to do more elaborate color schemes. To be honest, like, when it comes to design, it's not just, you're not just focusing on one thing at a time. You're kind of doing everything at once, but also individually, if that makes sense. Like, so when I'm picking a color scheme, I'm thinking about the layout, the lighting, everything in one when I'm picking out a color scheme, because everything has to work together, and if it doesn't, then it's just not going to look nice. It's not going to work. So I think it's very important to kind of bear that in mind when you're creating your color scheme, is to make sure that everything is going to actually work together. Color scheme, layout, lighting, that's basically your color scheme, how to create it. Now I'm going to give you a demonstration. I know, lucky you. This right now, I'm going to have some fun. I think this is more for me than it is for you, but basically this nursery room, okay, so the baby at the moment, it's my sister, but there's another baby on the way. And obviously we don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl, and my sister will be moving out of that room into another room when the new baby comes. So I don't want the room to be too gender specific, and I want whatever is permanent in there to be able to transform more kind of towards like boyish or girl, you know, like that kind of way. Not that like any color in particular is, you know, gender specific. Basically that's a whole separate conversation. Don't cancel me because I'm putting pink into a girl's room. But so I'm not gonna go into the actual design details, because there's definitely a feature in this room that you're not going to expect. It's not just painted walls and a new bed. There's a lot going on in it. So like, I mean, I don't think you're ready, but like, I'm ready and I'm very excited about it. But anyway, I have 2 kind of pink options. So like, I've this from the Little Green Company. I have Blush and Light Peach Blossom. I don't really know which one I want to use. But I also have 2 green options, because yes, I'm doing green and pink. I know, very shocking. Card Room Green from Farrow & Ball and 3 Farm Green from the Little Green Company. So let's start with the pinks. I'm so excited. Okay, I know what blush looks like, so I'm going to open up the Light Peach Blossom first. Because I want to see what this one looks like. So this is, I do this when I'm color scheming, and before I put it on the walls, I get like a blank piece of paper and I paint. Oh, that's so nice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is what I do. I just kind of paint on a sheet of paper with the colors that I'm going to be using, and then I put them all together, because it's like almost like creating like a piece of art. I know. Creating a piece of art. Okay, that's enough. And then you can see how all the colors work together before you even bring them down to space. I really love this color. This is very calming. Again, you get a sense of kind of the feeling of the space, I think, when you start laying the colors out like this. At least then when you go to the client space, you kind of know what you're talking about then, and you've played around with the color combination so you're not kind of winging it, which is very unprofessional and not what you're being paid for. You're being paid to know what you're doing. So yeah, I like that. So I'm going to go in with the green. I think I know which combination this is going to be. I have a feeling, and I thought it was going to be something else, but I have a feeling it's going to be something completely different. So the next color that I'm going in with, I feel like I'm like a beauty guru or something, is the green shade. Yeah, 3 Farm Green. Like, look at the tones of these colors. It just creates such a cool energy. So this is what we're working with thus far. I'm obsessed. I think this could be the combination. I'm gonna go with the Cardamom Green first. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with blush. I'm gonna go with blush first. I want to see what blush and this color looks like together. I mean, that also looks really good. Blush is definitely more pink, for sure. This is why it's so important to do this, because you have one idea in your head and you think, oh yeah, for sure, that's gonna be it. But then when you start playing with it, it's not long before your opinions and your thoughts start to change. Okay, and then finally, we've got Cardamom Green, which is one of my favorite colors from Farrow & Ball. As you can see, this is a completely different vibe to the other green. And you can see quickly how it doesn't really work with some of the colors. It's not like this in real life. It's a bit darker normally in real life. Maybe when it dries. Let's give it a minute before we rule it out completely. This is why I think it's so important to do add a little kind of sample card like this, so you have all your colors together and you can kind of see what's working and what ain't working. I'm kind of liking this combination up here the most, and I'm surprised. But I also like these two together, because I thought it was going to be, not going to lie, I thought it was going to be like these two or these two. I didn't think it was going to be this one, but yeah, now that I'm starting to visualize it, I'm getting excited about that now. So I'm just going to write that down as a note. Okay, so that's going to be my combination, I think. Well, hold on now. Wait a damn minute. The other green's starting to dry and starting to catch my attention a bit more. No, I do really like these two together, so I'm excited to put them up now on the wall and see what they look like in the space. Because like this is nice. This gives you an idea of, this gives you more of a focused kind of breakdown of the color selection. But it's not until you see them in the actual space that they really translate. Like when you see them against like the light and the walls, but also for this I have a wallpaper, so like I'm going tomorrow now to order the wallpaper and the paints and everything. But I'm gonna put these two samples now next to the wallpaper to see kind of which one, because there's a lighter version and a darker version. I'm going to see kind of which one I'm aiming towards. At the moment I'm aiming towards the lighter version, but this has thrown a spanner in the works altogether, so now I'm like, maybe it is going to be the darker one, I don't know. Oh, this room's going to look so good, I'm not even joking. Like, it's very exciting. I think this room will be done end of August. Once you kind of know what direction you want to go in, it kind of just falls into place. Well, at least for me it does, but that's why I do what I do. This is why I get paid to do this, because like I'm just amazing. It just comes to me. Like I'm just in my room and boom, an idea comes to me, I run with it and it turns out amazing. No, I'm only messing. It's such a hard topic to explain, I think, design in a whole, because there's no wrong way to do it, but there also is. But like, it's all personal preference. Like, I mean, you might hate this, but I know you'll love it when it's done in real life. So I mean, well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know if this helped you down below. Let me know if you have any questions. I might film a part 2 of this. You know, if there's any specific things you want to see about creating a color scheme, I can do that. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss all these amazing projects that are going to be coming out in the next few months. Bye.